Oh yeah. There it is.
It's a bomb.
Yeah.
It's a fruit bomb in your face.
Yeah. Boom. Oh, you got a nice low fill.
Well, it's not even double IPA in it. So,
hello. Full beer.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to the Birtel craft beer channel. We are a small brewery from Switzerland near Basel. This is Richard, our head brewer. I'm Daniel. I do all the other stuff, and we are joking around and having a good time around beer stories and brewery life. Huh?
Yes, we are.
So, and today again we want to introduce one of our seasonal beers, and that would be the Double IPA.
Yeah.
And yeah, why is that bottle so half full? It's how do you call them?
A decoy.
What?
A decoy.
Whatever. Because the Double IPA is still in the tank.
Yes, because working in a brewery means that things never go the way you plan them.
No.
And therefore, the beer that was supposed to be packaged on Tuesday is still in the tank.
Yeah, but I wanted to show you the label. It's coming next week whatsoever when you look this video in 2 years.
Yeah, it's not going to be much.
No, maybe not. Maybe. You never know.
Could be a historic
You never
moment.
know. So we head back. No, we go back. We go down to the brewery. We zwickle it, and we come back up, and we take you guys with us. And this is gonna be really simple.
This is going to be, yeah.
So we're just gonna do it like this.
Just don't tell Suva.
Don't tell Suva. And off we go. Have to take off these.
Grab the glasses.
Yep. So our studio is really in the middle of the brewery. And actually it's a really nice weather today. Huh? And it's quite high. That's why Richard meant tell the Suva. So you're gonna fill that tomorrow, right?
Yeah, that's the plan. We finally hit our temperature. Our glycol chiller is humming in the background, so beer should be cold enough to pack, which is pretty nice.
Do you like double IPAs?
I don't like double IPAs. I love double IPAs. Anyone who knows me will tell you. Favorite beer style by far, the hazier the better, the thicker, the more hoppy. It's not what I typically drink. So, I tried to make this the way I would really like to drink it. And I think I've finally gotten my technique down with these beers, which makes me really happy. It's got a really full body. 35% oats by volume, nice specific mash regimen to get a balance of sweetness and richness on the palate. Very little kettle hops, exclusively in the whirlpool, and then a massive dry hop. This one is Simcoe, Mosaic, and Citra, and I'm very pleased.
These are the three classic
Yeah,
beers, no?
I figure if we're gonna, there's a reason. There's a reason.
Which is?
It's a symphony, you get a really great balance of sort of dankness, overripe, tropical fruit, as well as citrusy character, and a bit of bitterness, but just a
All right, we head back to the studio. It's a wonder that nobody fell from here up to now.
Yeah, not good.
I mean, it's good. It's really good. A lot of shit happened in here, but that didn't happen yet. It looks very good.
Yes. Yes.
The way it looks very juicy.
Yes, it does have that look, I have to admit. And we're back in the studio. This is my public radio voice.
In a whirl. All right. So, yeah,
So yeah.
let's have a sip.
All right.
Cheers.
Santé.
Thank you. Man, the way it looks,
Yeah, that's sexy.
yeah, it looks sweet already. Damn.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
There it is.
It's a bomb.
Yeah.
It's a fruit bomb in your face.
Yeah. It is juicy.
I love the foam.
Yeah, it's really got a nice stable head on it. The protein from the oat malt really helps with that. Carbonation's great. I think for me, the reason I prefer double IPAs like this to a lower alcohol version. The alcohol, besides having a
Where
little
are we here in alcohol?
8%, 8.3.
Oh, it's not a light
Yeah.
beer.
No, it's not.
But
a
I
light
would
beer.
have given less.
Yeah, but I think with all of that body, with all of that hop, dry hop character, the alcohol actually has a characteristic in this beer. It's not hot by any means, but there is a bit of booze to it,
Yeah.
which I think really helps cut through all of that hoppiness, all of that big body. And I'm a big fan. So for hazy IPAs, I like the ABV to be around 8. Those are sort of my favorites.
No, it's really, really good. I would say passion fruit.
A little bit of melon. And then right on the back is almost like a grapefruit.
Yeah.
It's like a
Yeah,
citrusy
citrusy
bitterness.
thing.
And just a hint of bitterness in this as well on the finish that really helps also cut through, which I'm really happy with.
No, I love it. It also took us a while, or it took you a while to figure it out how to do it properly, and of course, tastes are different.
Yeah, but I think
opinions are different.
I think I've really hit the stride now.
Yeah.
With the dry hopping specifically,
Yeah.
where in the fermentation I include that. I'm a fan of a colder dry hop. It's a little bit controversial, but I think also that with these beers, the tendency is to push extreme. Where back in where I'm from in the U.S., we had West Coast IPAs in the early 2000s and stuff. The philosophy was more bitterness, like this intense bitterness. And IPA styles over the years have gotten away from that. And I think in a lot of ways for the better. But then I think with these juicy IPAs, the tendency was to push the dry hop, push the juiciness, more hops equals more juicy. And that's not really the case. There's a threshold.
Yeah.
At a certain point, dumping too much hops is just a waste. And in fact, it affects the beer negatively. I think you get green character. You also get a sort of, we call it hop burn. And I think that when you're pushing those thresholds of dry hops into the 30.
How much grams per liter are in?
I need to check on this one. It was
More than 10.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
More than 10.
Yeah.
Less than 25.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
No, much less than 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're at 12, 15.
Okay. Yeah.
There was a decent charge in the whirlpool. That's another thing I've been playing with. I pre-chill the wort to about 75, 79, 8 degrees. That's what I'm shooting for. So I pre-chill the wort before adding the whirlpool hops. And that really retains a lot of the hop flavor without adding bitterness. And that was something I struggle with. I also treat our water. We have very hard water in Basel.
Yeah.
And so there's quite a lot of water treatment going in to make the hopping more palatable. And that was definitely a
What do you
challenge.
do then?
I use a combination of acids, mainly phosphoric acid,
All right.
in the whirlpool.
Yeah. Especially for these kinds of beer style.
Yeah, it's something I'm incorporating more. I think it's hard because like with lager, for example, our hard water is a sort of character in that beer.
Yeah.
And to change
And
the water.
should be.
Yeah, and I kind of like working with what you have. But with a beer like this where the focus is certainly the hops and the kind of malty body and that sweetness, that gentleness, that pillowy feeling that you get on the tongue. Water treatment is really important. So
I like that word, pillowy.
yeah.
Yeah, that's something we don't have. But it gives a clear image. And
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, it's very-
describes it very well.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something brewers do not like to talk much about it. You probably know what I'm going to ask you.
Diacetyl.
No. Lactose.
Lactose, yeah.
Yeah. So these beers are, well, the New England IPAs are always on the sweet side. And I had many different NIPAs, and they're all very sweet.
Mhm.
And just a few of them are actually telling in the ingredients that they use lactose. And then I always ask myself, okay, how are you doing such a sweet beer without lactose? Especially, well, I'm not going to name breweries, but here in Switzerland, we have to put it on the bottle what we put in the beer. So that's why we are, of course, honest here as well. And I think lactose is a good thing because I think it stabilizes the beer as well.
Yeah, it's really interesting because we played around with this quite a bit when we were developing the hazy styles here. The original hazy from Birtel did not have lactose. Its shelf stability was really poor. Its haze stability was very poor. And I don't know if causation or correlation is causation, but it definitely seems to have a stabilizing effect. I don't know the chemistry behind that, and I have several beer friends who are probably going to yell at me about that, but we made the conscious decision because we don't filter our beers, we don't centrifuge our beers. There are mash techniques, and there are like hot side techniques specifically where you can keep your residual sugars much higher. With the system that we have on the technical side, that would be very challenging. And so what I wanted was a beer that was going to be stable. And so I wanted to make sure that the fermentation was terminal. I didn't want to fight things like hop creep and stuff like that. So the judicious addition of lactose allows me to get that residual sugar higher without fears of re-fermentation. And it also, in a way, really works with the style. And I was adamantly against it.
Yeah.
Daniel and I argued about this for a little while. I was adamantly against it. But with the technical constraints we have, we don't have a massive laboratory or staff to.
We don't have a laboratory.
I have a microscope. With the things we have on hand, I wanted to provide people with the most stable and enjoyable product that we could. And
Richard always say that's what the kids want.
It's what the kids drink, Daniel. Daniel is a massive fan of double IPAs. This should be known.
Well
not
I'm a
just
massive
double IPAs,
fan of
juicy
IPAs.
Juicy IPAs.
No, I really also like West Coast IPAs.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I just like the bitterness. I mean, the first thing I drink every morning
Double IPA.
is a double IPA. No, honestly, is a grapefruit juice. Because I love that bitterness hit. I always did. Even as a kid, I drank the aperitif for my father.
Oh yeah.
And he loved bitter stuff.
Like Campari and
and already as kid I loved it. But this is not on the bitter side. I just think these double IPAs, they reach potential customers.
Yeah, I mean,
That's one of the reasons why I think it's important for a brewery to have it, because I hear it so often from customers that I just don't drink beers, and well, I don't want to say it's a women's beer, not at all, but I have a lot of female customers coming back to us saying, I love this fruitiness, I love this sweetness. I mean, at the beer festivals, it's crazy. Yeah. We have the sour beers, we have these, and people come back for more.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to find that quality in Switzerland. I mean, in America, I know it's a common thing, and a lot of brewers don't like it. But here, it's hard to find that kind of beer in this quality.
I mean, the American in me loves the idea of redefining what something can be. And I think hazy IPA is, I joke around and I call it like fourth wave craft beer, because basically you've got something that it's not been a static style. IPA, from a couple hundred years that it developed in Burton-on-Trent, went over to America. Now it's kind of it's made its way back to Europe. A lot has evolved. And I mean, you had very English style IPAs when I was first getting into brewing. That was sort of a much more amber, malty, pale malt and crystal malts. And then the West Coast kind of took that, stripped it back, and made it, a much lighter product while maintaining the bitterness, but adding this whirlpool charge and this dry hopping that just really highlighted what American hops had become as well. And I think these beers are the next evolution. I mean, people's palates change over time, and we're kind of seeing that in the market with this style in particular.
Yeah, and it's not a trend. It's not a boom in that thing.
It's not brewed IPA or dark IPA.
No, but it's also it's a trend that still holds on.
Yeah, I think
things come and go really, really fast. It took us here at Birtel years to get IPAs into the line, especially into the core beers. And now people are asking for more, especially for more IPAs. One last thing, where does it really come from? When did all this started and where?
The style.
Yeah.
It's debatable. The East Coast, Northeast Coast, New England. So which would be
always hear the Alchemist Heady Topper.
Yeah. I would agree. That was where I heard about it in, I don't know, the early 10s of the 2000s. That was where it was coming out of Maine. I don't know if Lawson's would be included in that, but certainly very good IPA, like Sip Sunshine. But Heady Topper would be probably it was the first hazy IPA I had. And it kind of came out of its rarity as well. It's a unitank fermented beer. They were producing the hell out of it. It was in cans. There were a lot of things in the craft beer scene that were going and changing at that time, but Heady Topper is probably where I would trace it back to. Yeah, the Alchemist. Yeah.
Okay. I once wrote him.
Right.
The Alchemist.
Yeah.
And I got an answer because I was planning to do a brewery tour in America. And he said, yeah, come by anytime. He's been in Switzerland anyways a few years ago. And then lockdown came. So since then, I never touched back. But the idea was I was planning for all the beer nerds around us to do an American tour.
Yeah,
we still can do it.
Brewery people are pretty friendly, and we like to drink beer. Yeah. So if you bring beer or you are part of a brewery, it's sort of an unspoken hospitality that you have to provide, and it's fun to do.
And that brings us. This is the root of the hazy IPAs, the double IPAs. Of course, it's something different, but still the sweet, very fruity, juicy IPAs from the East Coast. And yeah, that's it. Our double IPA is normally always around autumn, and autumn it comes back. And it's here as long as it has. Yeah,
Here for a good time, not a long time.
And then it goes again, and I would hit our website and order at least
Drink fresh, drink cold.
24 bottles, yeah, and get it while it's fresh. This is really important with this beer. Thank you very much. Thank you,
Thank you guys.
for joining us. Hit that subscribe button and then let us a like here, and see you next time.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.